Hello and welcome to Meet the Flockers. This is it's an events page, a group that I've started. Basically it's an interesting story. This is my balcony, by the way. This is the nest. I'm the big bird. Helen's down there in the corner. I'm gonna explain all about it. Basically I was away for a couple of days. I forget where the fuck I was. I think I went to the wiggle room for a wiggle on a Friday or something, but if you've been to the wiggle room, you know it's never just a wiggle. It usually lasts a couple of days. But I came home. When I came home, came out of the balcony. I was gone for a couple of days. And there was a little nest down at the end of the balcony there. It's just been built. No eggs in it and fuck all. So I thought, oh fuck, so I burst it off. The next day, I came back and the nest was there. And lo and behold, there was 2 eggs and I didn't have the heart. And I thought, well, you know, being all things birds and lovers of, you know, the creation of life, and I didn't have the heart to throw the nest away with the eggs. So I thought, what am I going to do with this here, right? So then I decided, well, we're going to make it home. And it's for a special reason as well. You see, for me, birds have always been pretty sacred in my life. I was raised with my granny and granda back in Glasgow, in the UK and Scotland. My old grandfather, Peter, God love him, he used to take me up to the top end of Castleville, where we watched these old farmers and stuff play pigeons. The game back then was, the one farmer had his dude, he called them dudes, the other one had his dude, and they play a game of pigeons, where they released their pigeons and the two of them would try and attract each other and bring the other fucker's pigeon back. It was for bragging rights. If you keep them, they keep a little house called the Ducat. So that always stuck and resonated with me. And then for the years that went by, I, you know, whenever I was going through life, I was having a shit day or things weren't working out or, you know, just on my ass or busted or feeling fucking sorry for myself. No matter where I'd be or where I'd be sitting, 2 birds would always land and arrive right where I was, and I would just get this overwhelming feeling that everything was going to be all right, you know. And so I actually ended up getting 2 tattoos of birds on my arms to remind myself that. So it's always been a thing. They say in a lot of the spiritual world, with regards to First Nations and Aboriginals and stuff, they say that birds visiting people. They send messages through birds. It's, you know, it's your elders coming to visit you and stuff like that. So I don't believe in that. So these 2 birds coming, or sorry, this one bird at the time arriving and planting these 2 eggs, I thought, well, for fuck's sakes, I better make a thing of this, right? So it's my firm belief that it's my grandparents, and the 2 eggs we're going to call them Peter and Helen. So I decided I've made a group. The link's below here. I want you to join it so you can follow if you like. I've done some research, and basically how it works is with pigeons, there's 2 of them. There's a father and there's a mother. They take shifts, by the way, as well, mending the nest. One mends it, the other one fucks off, and so on and so forth. So I've noticed a difference. I think the male one, I can tell, is a little bit bigger with the feathers are different, but he's neglecting. He hasn't been around much. So it's mostly the mother goose. She's down there right now. But I done some research, and what the interesting thing about this is, it takes about 2 months for them to fully hatch these eggs. So I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I'm gonna watch these eggs grow and stuff, and then once they hatch, it takes them about another 5 to 6 weeks to get the babies ready to fly and fat and eat and get the feathers going, take them off. So this is gonna be home. So we're gonna go along on this journey, and so I done all that research, and it says they're very skittish. They're very, you know, you don't want to fuck with them at first. You don't want to get too close to them and stuff like that, right? So basically, what I wanted to do with all this heat stuff like that, I wanted to give them some food, maybe some cold water. So first, as you'll see here in this picture, this is them first. When the nest was first built, there was nothing there. I was giving it some breadcrumbs, and I found out breadcrumbs are useless. It's just filler. There's no vitamins in them for them or fuck all. So I went down and I got some bird feed, and I also decided to get a border to let them know that they have their space and they're not going to be fucked with, and it blocks the wind as well, because it's been windy with all these this hot weather and stuff. So yeah, and also the interesting thing is, because they're going to start getting comfortable with me, and this is, you know, like their home, they remember faces. Pigeons are very, very loyal, and they have great memories. At one point in time, pigeons were the #1 mode of communication. Carrier pigeons. Before the telephone, pigeons were groomed by human beings to love us and nurture to us, and they gave up all their basic survival skills to be around humans, because we took all of their skills away and trained them. They were our telephone. So that's why now in today's age, when we see pigeons, They just, they follow us around and they're out in the streets and they're just waiting for begging because they've lost all their natural instincts on how to actually hunt and get food in the forest and stuff like that or in the wild. They rely and depend on human beings, believe it or not. So we're actually the assholes of the whole pigeon series. So when the pigeons bother you on the street and you call them shit hawks, they're not really, they're the good guys. We're the fucking assholes in this story. And I learned that at a very young age from my granddad. But, so the pigeons, right? So, but this is the interesting part. So apparently, what'll happen is because I'm feeding them and I'm nurturing them and all this kind of shit, they're gonna remember this, right? And they're gonna start, so when they do lay their hatches and birds come up and, they start feeding the birds and the birds get all big and ready and they fly the coop. There's a 90% chance these birds will start going to coming back. So once they're done, I'm going to build them a ducat, right? Which is an actual bird home. And I'm going to start using them as pigeons and see if I can clone them in. Now, what I do is every single time I enter the balcony, this is a very big character trait with people that own dudes, that own pigeons, that play the pigeons. They give them certain whistles so they don't them. So mine is... Through this whole process so far, I've had them out on my balcony here for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Every time I enter the balcony, as soon as I open the door, and then the pigeon knows that's me now, right? So it knows that the person entering the space is me, and it's the whistle, and I'm the one bringing the fucking water and the food. I'm the guy. So the interesting part will be once it's all said and done, and the young ones are raised up, they're gonna live around here in the neighborhood and trees and shit. I'll be doing that. To see if they're gonna start coming back and see if I can get a ducat out of them and start playing pigeons. So it's a thing. So I invite you to come along on the journey. As you'll see, this was the picture of their first arrival. There was nothing going on and stuff like that. They're down there right now. And then I thought, well, I'll give them some bird seed, keep their nutrition up, and some water. And so I got them a bowl. I had to be very careful putting the bowl down. When I first tried it at first, she got skittish and she fucked off. So I had to be very, very slow, careful.
So I had already started feeding it, but out of a shitty bowl. So I went and I bought it this new bowl with some seed and water and stuff like that. And we'll see how she takes to it. They get spooked out pretty quick. They'll be very slow. She's taken to me now.
It's a thing. They're comfortable now. She's comfortable with me being around and she's not moving anymore. So the trust is there. That's the thing. So we got a thing going on. Me and the bite. So it's very interesting. So what I'm going to be doing is documenting this whole entire episode, and we're going to watch these birds hatch and be raised, and watch the mama feeding the birds and stuff like that. And I'm going to embrace the whole trip and feeding the whole little border. They're now guarded by the sacred mushrooms, so no one can harm them. Those mushrooms were donated to me by a great copper friend of mine, and they brought me good juju and luck. So they're gonna ward off all the evil spirits and keep the birds, the flockers' house nice and safe. Touch wood. But yeah, so I welcome you. There's a link below here to join on this group. It's an event. Just press follow. We're going, and you can stay up to speed and watch the journey. You're going to be here with me probably for another 2 months, maybe 2.5 months. That's while the birds are hatched and they get ready to fly and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. So welcome to the flockers.